Okay, there's three main centres of awareness in the body. And it's very important to appreciate these as different locations of awareness, because once you do, you have a better idea if you are overusing one centre or another. We really want these centres to be in a nice balance in the body, and then we'll feel happier, more healthy and more stable, physically more stable as well. So what are these three centres and where do they go wrong? So the mental workload of a modern person, particularly in the West, is unbelievable. When you consider the disconnect from actually maybe the farming hunter-gatherers of the past, where they belonged to the earth, they were in union with the earth in many cases. If you believe that model of history, that is. In those cases, now as a modern person, we're doing things that are really unhealthy for the body. To sit at a desk is very unnatural for long periods of time. I've done that myself and I know the implications it has for us. We study too much. See these books here, people are at university, they're having to study really to qualify through memorization. And now in the age and advent of AI, I mean, what is going to happen to many of those jobs that people are actually studying for? That's another story, but mental position is why mental health has probably gone up so much in recent years is due to some of these factors. And people have financial stresses, the way governments are managing countries isn't always that great, let's face it. And the financial strains as well as the strains on a person's life become greater and greater. So we have to learn to offset this with the other centres of awareness, the heart and the lower centre of awareness as well. So the other key loci of awareness is the heart. And of course this is the one that trips a lot of people up. The heart's a beautiful thing, emotion, living life to the full, and relationship. But when it goes wrong, and I don't just mean in the physical sense, but when things go wrong, things that we're attached to, things that we love, when we lose somebody, then we can find ourselves a bit astray. In Japan in 1990, scientists there recognised a syndrome called the Takotsubo syndrome. And that syndrome effectually says that if you're under a lot of stress, the heart itself will, or the muscle in the heart can be damaged. So we're not just talking about feeling emotionally out of place when we're struck by fatigue of emotions and the heart. We're actually talking about something that's physically going to change. So it's like a heartbroken syndrome. So this is something we really need to try and counterbalance in our lives and really manage these stresses that impact us. I think it's really interesting to think about heart transplants. If you read in books cases of people who have gone through heart transplants, they have noticed that, and the family members have noticed that the personality of those people has actually changed. And this shouldn't happen really, should it, from a perspective of modern science, that it shouldn't affect the emotions of the person, but it seems to. And in certain books, and I'll put a reference to the book I'm talking about, I think it was called Heart of the Matter. But by the by, this book cited a lot of cases where the person's tastes for food changed. They could even get a sense of traumas and conflict that had happened from the donor who they didn't know, but they just sensed there was a big change in them. So the tissues of the body in this region of the heart are really important for emotional content. It's not just an anatomical piece of meat as it sometimes can be looked upon. In the book Thought of the Heart and Soul of the World, the anatomists, as they described in there, when they were studying the heart in the early years of anatomy, when they were dissecting the body, what the chap in the book was kind of proposing was that they really separated the feeling loci of awareness of the heart as being a feeling centre and really pushed it into being something that was just more machine-like. You know, flesh and bone, the anatomy of the body, you know, likened to more mechanical, and that understanding grew and really left behind the idea that the heart and this important centre of the body was an emotional centre and a very important place of awareness for us as human beings, and that we could operate from there as opposed from this mental aspect of looking at anatomy and the body in that way. Now, the final, last but not least, loci or location of awareness is the Hara. I do believe it's pronounced Hara and not Hara, like I tend to pronounce it. Positioned just underneath the belly button and posteriorly back about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Now that varies by text. It really sits at a region of the centre of gravity of the body. And often this area is underestimated in our daily lives. We're working from the head, we're operating from the heart. But how often are we really thinking of the centre of gravity unless we are doing some activity that cultivates that region? And we'll talk a little bit about how to cultivate that region. I will do a deeper dive into the Hara at a later date. It really deserves its own video specifically about that area. But the way I was introduced to this, and I've got the book here, was through this book right here. And that's Hara, or Hara, The Vital Centre of Man, by Carlfried Graf Durkheim. And that book really emphasised the importance, and I do recommend that you read that book, the importance of the Hara in daily life and in spiritual life. Now I've got some quotes to talk to you about, and then we'll just cap off this video with a few suggestions of how you could cultivate the Hara. I just want to stress before we go into these quotes that I'm not discounting the head not being important or the heart. Those areas are important, but we want them to be balanced with this third loci of awareness. Now, in order to do that, we need to focus a little bit more on that third area of awareness, give it a little bit more attention, maybe shut off the other aspects of ourselves for a while through meditation and other methods. Okay, so let's look at these quotes. So I hope you enjoyed those quotations. There might be a little bit of food for thought in there. So really, I'm going to do another video, like I've said, on Hara or Hara on its own. By cultivating and strengthening the Hara, when you get unsettled in your head or your heart, you will actually be able to get through that more easily. And I'm speaking from personal experience here, where certain times in my life I've been meditating and training more. I've been able to manage the ups and downs of life much better than other times in my life where I've maybe not done as much meditation and tried to cultivate this centre within the Hara, or this lower portion of awareness. So in order to cultivate the lower centre of awareness, just as a quick overview, the Japanese have particular culture that's embedded with different methods that involve Hara. So even flower arranging, but certainly martial arts, Zen Buddhism, breathing, archery, all of those, calligraphy, all of those different methodologies are a means to cultivate the Hara. And once you get the grasp of what that means and how to bring that into your life a little bit, you can then embody that in your daily life. Even just like as I'm sitting here, just trying to be aware of that centre even as you speak and as you take the world in. So I hope this video's helped you. I hope it's made you a little bit more aware of the Hara, and hopefully we'll soon get another video out on Hara. I'll try and pronounce it better in the next video, and we'll look at some different ways to cultivate that region and strengthen those roots within us. Okay, see you later. Bye.